She stood in that courtroom, heart pounding, as the judge smirked and threw out her case. "You don't belong here," he said, voice dripping with contempt. "A black woman fighting for justice, dismissed like she was nothing." But what that judge didn't know, in just 7 days, she'd turn the tables, expose his corruption, and own the very law firm that backed him. How did she do it? You won't believe this. Imagine this: you've spent years building a case, pouring your soul into it, only to have it ripped away in seconds by someone who doesn't even see you as human. That's where we start, with Maya, a 32-year-old single mother from Chicago, standing in a courtroom that felt more like a lion's den. She wasn't just fighting for herself, she was fighting for her late brother, whose wrongful death at the hands of a powerful corporation had been swept under the rug. Maya had evidence, hard evidence, that could have brought that company to its knees. But the judge, he wasn't having it. Maya grew up in a neighborhood where trust in the system was a fairy tale. Her brother, Jamal, was her rock, always there, always pushing her to dream bigger. When he died in a factory explosion caused by negligence, Maya vowed to get justice. She worked nights, saved every penny, and hired a small-time lawyer to take on the corporate giant. After 2 years of dead ends, she finally got her day in court. She walked in with hope, clutching a folder of documents that proved the company knew their equipment was faulty. But the judge, Judge Harold Grayson, was a wall of arrogance, white-haired, sharp-eyed, with a reputation for keeping order. He ran his courtroom like a king. The law firm representing the corporation, Grayson and Pierce, was a powerhouse in the city, known for burying cases like Maya's. Rumors swirled that Grayson had ties to the firm. His brother was a senior partner, but no one dared challenge him. Maya, though, she wasn't just anyone. As she presented her case, the judge barely looked at her. He interrupted her lawyer, scoffed at her evidence, and when Maya tried to speak, he snapped, "This isn't your soapbox, young lady." The courtroom laughed, as her pain was reduced to a punchline. Then, with a flick of his gavel, he dismissed her case for lack of merit. Maya stood there, frozen, as the corporate lawyers smirked and the judge walked out. She felt like the system had spit in her face. But something in Maya snapped that day, not into despair, but into fire. She wasn't going to let this end here. She remembered her brother's words, "They only win if you stop fighting." That night, she sat at her kitchen table, laptop open, digging into Grayson and Pierce. She wasn't a lawyer, but she was relentless. She found whispers online, Reddit threads, old blog posts, about the firm's shady deals. A former clerk had posted about the books meetings between Judge Grayson and the firm's partners. It wasn't much, but it was a thread to pull. Maya didn't sleep that night. She reached out to anyone who'd listen. Journalists, activists, even hackers on obscure forums. She was chasing a hunch. If Grayson was dirty, the firm was dirtier. And if she could prove it, she'd make them pay. What she didn't know was how deep this rabbit hole went, or how fast it would spiral into something that would shock the entire city. The next morning, Maya got a call from an anonymous number. A voice, low, cautious, said, "Check your email. You're not wrong about Grayson." Her inbox had a single message, no sender name, with a PDF attachment. It was a scanned document, a memo from Grayson and Pierce, dated 3 years back, detailing a consulting fee paid to Judge Grayson for case guidance. The amount, $200,000. Maya's hands shook. This was it. Proof of corruption. But who sent it, and why? She didn't have time to wonder. She forwarded the document to a local investigative journalist, Sarah Klein, who'd written exposes on corporate fraud. Sarah was skeptical but intrigued. "If this is real, Maya, it's a bombshell," she said. "But you're playing with fire. These people don't lose quietly." Maya didn't care. She was done being quiet. Sarah agreed to dig deeper, but she needed more evidence. Maya spent the next 2 days scouring public records, cross-referencing Grayson's rulings with cases tied to the firm. She found a pattern. Every case against Grayson and Pierce's clients, big corporations, shady developers, got dismissed or settled for pennies. Meanwhile, Grayson's lifestyle didn't match his judge's salary. The man had a lake house, a yacht, and a vintage car collection. Maya's gut screamed. He was bought. On day 3, Maya got another anonymous email. This one had audio, a grainy recording of a conversation between Judge Grayson and a senior partner at the firm, Richard Pierce. Dismiss the Johnson case. Pierce said, "We'll take care of you." Grayson's voice replied, "Already done." The Johnson case. That was Maya's case. Her brother's case. Her heart pounded. This wasn't just corruption. It was personal. Maya met Sarah at a diner, handing over a USB with the audio. Sarah's eyes widened as she listened. "This could take down the whole firm," she said, "but there was a catch. The evidence was obtained illegally. If they went public, Maya could face legal backlash. Are you ready for that?" Sarah asked. Maya didn't hesitate. "They took my brother. I'm taking their empire." Sarah published a teaser article online, hinting at a major scandal involving a prominent judge and a top law firm. The internet exploded. Comments flooded in, with people speculating about Grayson and Pierce. Maya watched as the firm's social media pages got bombarded with questions, but the firm wasn't going down without a fight. They released a statement calling the allegations baseless and threatened to sue for defamation. Maya felt the pressure closing in. Had she gone too far? Then, on day 5, something unexpected happened. A former Grayson and Pierce intern, Emily, reached out to Maya on X. She'd seen Sarah's article and wanted to talk. Emily was nervous, her voice shaking as she met Maya in a park. "I worked there for 6 months," she said. "They made me shred documents, case files, financial records. I kept copies because I knew something was wrong." Emily handed Maya a flash drive. "This is everything." The drive was a gold mine. Emails, bank transfers, and internal memos showing Grayson and Pierce had been bribing judges across the state for years. One email even mentioned a plan to expand their influence to federal courts. Maya realized this wasn't just about her brother anymore. It was about a system rotten to its core. But the firm was watching. That night, Maya's car window was smashed and a note was left, "Stop now, or you'll regret it." Maya wasn't backing down. She and Sarah worked around the clock, verifying the new evidence. The flash drive revealed a network of corruption that went beyond Grayson and Pierce. The firm had a fixer, a shadowy figure named Victor Crane, who handled their dirty work. Crane wasn't just bribing judges. He was intimidating witnesses, forging documents, and even planting evidence to discredit plaintiffs like Maya. Sarah's next article dropped like a bomb, titled "The Firm That Owns Justice." It laid out the evidence, the memo, the audio, and now the flash drive. It didn't name Maya, but it didn't have to. The internet connected the dots. Hashtags like #justice for Jamal and #takedown Grayson trended nationwide. Protesters gathered outside the firm's downtown office, chanting Maya's name. She was becoming a symbol, but that scared her. Symbols get targeted. On day 6, the firm fought back. They held a press conference with Richard Pierce at the podium, denying everything. "These are lies spread by a disgruntled woman with a vendetta," he said, smirking. Maya watched the live stream, her blood boiling. He was talking about her, but then came the twist. During the press conference, a group of hackers, calling themselves TruthNet, leaked more documents online. They'd hacked Grayson and Pierce's servers, exposing client lists, secret payments, and even a draft letter from Pierce to Grayson promising a bigger cut. If he dismissed Maya's case, the internet went wild. News outlets picked up the story, and by evening, Grayson and Pierce's stock plummeted. They were a publicly traded firm. Partners started jumping ship, and clients pulled their contracts. Maya couldn't believe it. She'd started a domino effect. But the biggest shock was yet to come. That night, Emily, the intern, called Maya in a panic. "They know I gave you the drive," she said. "Crane's after me." Maya told her to go to the police, but Emily was terrified. "You don't get it. They own the police in this city." Maya realized she had to act fast. She contacted a federal prosecutor she'd found through Sarah, someone known for taking on corruption cases. The prosecutor, Elena Torres, agreed to meet. Torres was no nonsense. She reviewed the evidence and said, "This is enough to indict Grayson, Pierce, and half the firm, but we need you to testify, Maya, publicly." Maya hesitated. Testifying meant exposing herself, her name, her face, her pain, to the world. But then she thought of Jamal, of the judge's smirk, of the system that tried to crush her. "I'll do it," she said. On day 7, Maya walked into a federal courthouse, flanked by Sarah and Torres. The evidence was submitted, and Grayson was suspended pending investigation. But the real bombshell came during the hearing. Torres revealed that Maya's case wasn't just dismissed, it was sabotaged. The firm had paid a clerk to lose her evidence before it ever reached the judge. The courtroom gasped. Maya felt tears sting her eyes, but not from sadness, from rage and from hope. The hearing was just the beginning. Within weeks, Grayson and Pierce collapsed under the weight of lawsuits, indictments, and public outrage. Judge Grayson was arrested, and Richard Pierce fled the country, only to be caught months later. But the twist: Maya didn't just win justice for her brother. She was approached by a group of investors who'd lost millions to the firm's schemes. They offered her a deal: take over Grayson and Pierce's assets, rebrand it, and run it as her own. Maya, the woman who'd been laughed out of court, became the CEO of a restructured law firm, now called Johnson Justice. She hired Emily, the intern, as her chief of staff and dedicated the firm to fighting for people like her, underdogs the system tried to erase. Her brother's case was reopened, and the corporation paid millions in damages, funding scholarships in Jamal's name. But here's the question: what would you have done in Maya's shoes? Would you have kept fighting, or would the fear have stopped you? Comment below and let me know, because Maya's story isn't just hers. It's a reminder that the system only wins if we let it. Hit that like button if you're inspired, subscribe for more stories of justice, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Who's the next Meyer out there? Maybe it's you.